In sync we thrive. Treasuries excite, we're keeping it alive. Let's keep rolling full speed ahead. EMP's the key, we're never misled. Our mission's clear as a northern star. Purchase EMP, that's who we are. And to the fusion fires, we offer it strong. Over and strong, over and over, till we can't go wrong. Roll together, powered by EMP. Crash, but we're sailing free. In sync we push, in sync we thrive. Treasuries in sight, we're keeping it alive. Let's keep rowing full speed ahead. EMP's the key, we're never misled. Our mission's clear as a northern star. Purchase EMP, that's who we are. To the fusion fires, we offer it strong. Over and strong, over and over, till we can't go wrong. Roll together, powered by EMP. The waves may crash, but we're sailing free. In sync we push, in sync we thrive. Treasuries in sight, we're keeping it alive. Let's keep rolling full speed ahead. EMP's the key, we're never misled. With EMP, we sharpen our swords. Fusing the energy, claiming rewards. No hesitation, we rise as one. Valhalla awaits when the job is done. Roll together, powered by EMP. The waves may crash, but we're sailing free. In sync we push, in sync we thrive. Treasuries in sight, we're keeping it alive. Let's keep rolling full speed ahead. EMP's the key, we're never misled. Onward we go, the EMP way, to the halls of glory where we'll stay. Rowing as one, no turning back. With EMP power, there's nothing we lack.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to EMP.Money. My name is AJ, I am the team lead here, and this is our live AMA. We come to you every Monday and Thursday at 6:45 p.m. Eastern. Better late than never, as always. Again, when we're booting up, it made me restart my entire computer. But nevertheless, we are here and ready to roll. Before we get started, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Our YouTube channel is ever growing, and the more engagement and the more followers, the more support we're able to give to our entire ecosystem, not only through the ad revenue, but also through the additional users. So, all that being said, we have a lot to go over today, but before we get into it, I want to introduce my co-host with the most and fellow team member, LA. LA, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Excited for another amazing Monday AMA with everyone.
Yeah, 100%. We have our new intro, little metal action for those metalheads out there. And yeah, a lot to go over today. We're always busy, but a lot of loose ends were tied up this week. And we're also going to do a very down and dirty 5-minute or hopefully 10-minute or less intro into how to get involved in Fusion. We did a poll to some other communities, which we'll talk about when we get there, on what some feedback. And the overall feedback is, how do I get involved in like I'm a 5-year-old? So that is what we're going to go over. We also have a lot more updates in terms of the UI, the PEG profit battery, and many more updates. But the market is looking pretty good. We'll start off with that. Nice little recovery over the last few days. We saw a pretty major dump over the weekend. And again, I mean, you can go back and listen to all the AMAs, but usually the catalyst is in October. So, August, September, those are still really rough months historically speaking. And I think we're just seeing that right now on top of, intentional market manipulation. But, again, it seems like we have a dip and then we have the dippity dip. So it's hard to buy the bottom. But as long as you've been DCAing, you should be in an amazing position to take advantage of not only the overall crypto markets, but also, our ecosystems as well. So, again, I don't want to say that this is it, but we could be seeing the last of these numbers, at least in the, short term to midterm, as we really start seeing a real bull run in October, November, and then into 2025. All right, that is all I have to say. Any input on the markets, LA?
It's just nice to see that little recovery today. When I checked and saw it was at 2,200 and something for ETH, I was like, holy cow.
For sure.
But it always bounces right back. So here we go.
Yeah, no, 100%. Again, I think, once, institutional investors are back in the office, they're not enjoying their summers, usually around Thanksgiving, that's when we're telling grandma, about Bitcoin and crypto, and those all are important factors into the real bull run. So we'll see what happens. Either way, we're poised to do well in our own ecosystems, even if prices just stay where they are, which again I think is not the reality of the future. So, all right, awesome. I also did a podcast about an hour before this AMA, so forgive me if my voice is a little rough today, LA. I'll have you step in here and there, but really, really cool interview. Um, with a Web3 specific podcast covering Honor Madness, Dex Finance, and EMP, the entire ecosystem. So keep an eye out for that. We'll announce when that podcast is live. And, even though we're not having an official AMA train quite yet, we're always putting in the work to advertise and to get new users on board. And we have a bunch of updates in terms of advertising when we get to Honor versus Madness. But LA, why don't you kind of kick things off? I know the big announcement is we finally fixed some UI issues. So you want to go into
Yes.
that a little bit?
Yes. So I know only, a small percentage of users were affected by this, but there were a good chunk of you. And we know there was a lot of frustration over the UI issue. Either you would click on your dashboard and the screen would be blank, or you would click on your peg exchange tab and you were having issues there. So we know there was a little bit of a frustration there. We were working on it literally all weekend, but we added some more developers into the mix today. And the good news is it is finally fixed, and we can start building the momentum again that we started with the launch of this battery, which has been insane momentum, and it's going to continue. This has obviously delayed the development of our automatic distribution contract a little bit, but we do promise you that that is still in the works as well. But the great news is everything will be working super seamlessly very soon. And you've seen the power of this battery and what it can do for our ecosystem, what it will do for our ecosystem. You've seen the evidence and proof right before your eyes. So if you're looking to continue building your bags and getting EMP and Eshare now while you can, while there's still the price is good, it's something to think about doing. Obviously, not at all financial advice, but again, you've seen the evidence and the tangible proof of what this battery does. And we have had an additional 800,000 EMP sacrificed into Fusion since the announcement and launch of this battery. And that's with the last 4 or 5 days of it not even really being in operation. So if you think that those results are incredible and that this momentum is amazing, imagine what will happen once we get those kinks worked out and we have the automatic distribution set up and everything is working absolutely perfectly. That is incredible results considering the first couple weeks have been a little messy. So if we can accomplish that in such a short time with hiccups, just imagine what's possible and how quick we'll be able to initiate that supply shock when everything's working perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely, LA. And again, I mean, we are as transparent as we can be. Our lead developer, Jake, or as we refer to him in here because everybody is Jake, we usually refer to him as Chad, not to be confused with Jake from Dex Finance. But he's a full stack developer, again, built pretty much EMP from the ground up before we merged with DexFi. And admittedly, although he's an amazing full stack developer, front end is not his forte. And we were trying to work through it last week. As soon as you guys, raised the issue, I know that even the main Web2 libraries, I guess there was an update pushed that affected jQuery on Mac operating systems, and I think that's ultimately where the issue started. So we brought in, like Ella said, on Mondays we usually have our developer meetings anyway, where we have all hands on deck, and we brought in one of the senior front end developers from DexFi and got it taken care of, immediately. So thank you all for your patience. Again, I know it can be frustrating. It's equally as frustrating for us, LA and I, as we are not coders, but we want to get things done ASAP. So now we're good to go. Everything's functioning again, and we already started a little bit of injections, even without the random distribution contract. We did a little bit of an injection right before the AMA, and we will be doing that over the next couple of hours and into the night again, to be as fair as possible to everybody, no matter what their time zone. So continue to take advantage of the battery. Peg had a nice recovery within, an hour of us fixing the issues. I think people are really getting it that the momentum is building, and we're seeing everything come together as we have said all along. So that also being said, don't sleep on EMP and Eshare. I know, obviously with the markets down, that automatically makes ETH go down and therefore EMP go down. But in terms of dollar value, uh, now is some of the best times to DCA. And I think, again, not financial advice, but we could potentially never see EMP and eShare at these levels ever again, especially when ETH and when the supply shock truly happens. And speaking of the supply shock, we announced last week that we burned another 1,000 eShare. And remember that the emissions of eShare reduced by half every year anyway. So with the coming new year, the supply is going to be even less, and truly be deflationary at that time. Even though we still have emissions, the burning will far outweigh the emissions. So that is also really powerful in terms of economics for eShare as well. And you know, like Ella said, now about 800,000 additional EMP sacrificed through the battery and others DCAing. We also did the numbers as well. Shout out to Joe, Florida Joe. I think we're at about 175 total batteries sold. So that was a question from last week's AMA. And so again, the demand is still very high for these batteries. So continue to utilize them. I'll throw up the recommended strategy really quick. We've gone over it and over it again, but I'll just throw it up really quick. And then, yeah, LA, any other points you want to make or any Fusion specific questions before I do a brief overview?
Yeah, just a reminder that if you have the ability to scoop up eShare while the price is low and you take advantage of a power pack in order to get your M energy for both the purchase of the battery and or the operating cost of the battery, you're significantly raising the profit value, the profit potential that you are able to make on each cycle of the continuous gain strategy by doing it that way. And so seeing $13 eShare today is a massive, massive opportunity to increase by, 1, 2, 3%. I'm not a mathematician, so I'm not going to give you an exact figure, obviously. But if you want more solid numbers on that, ask Grover. I know he loves to put detailed accounts on how to increase that by getting power packs and eShare low price, and he'll help you out with that. But shout out to Grover. And yeah, so scooping up that $13 eShare and getting yourself a power pack and carrying out this continuous gain strategy is your ticket to majorly, majorly increasing your profit margin and getting the most out of every cycle of this. And carrying out this strategy is the best strategy. And that's why we have put this out there, not only for the protocol, but for you as an individual. And this was very well thought out to maximize your profit and your gains and the building of your microgrid value and ownership of the protocol so that you are earning as much as possible from the protocol every single day.
Yes, absolutely. Could not agree more, LA. And yeah, I mean, we've had some of the biggest and brightest brains in all of crypto behind the development of this. And yeah, I mean, again, we say it again and again, but the math doesn't lie. And as long as we're utilizing the mechanisms that are put in place, then PEG is inevitable over the long run. So there's nothing more bullish than that in my eyes. But the one thing that, again, we've been getting a lot of feedback on is, um, and we've heard it before. Again, I don't even want to say it because it makes me laugh. But we said instead of fusion, it's confusion because it can be a little confusing or overwhelming. But really, when you break it down simply, fusion is very, very powerful and very, very simple. So I'm going to do an elevator pitch and a quick tutorial right now on the AMA on how to get involved with Fusion. And, we've got some really great feedback through some polls that I put out in other communities on why people aren't getting involved with Fusion. And I think a lot of the concerns can be easily addressed, which will ultimately lead to more users in the long run. So that is something we're actively working on. It's going up the priority list in terms of what we're getting done. And let's go over it right now. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Give me 1 second. All right, hopefully you guys can see this. So, for any of you that are brand new or have no idea about Fusion, this is how to get involved and how to get involved in under, 5 or 10 minutes. So, the number one thing, and again, this is going to be a very simple overview. Again, the different batteries and the different strategies. Please look at our YouTube channel. We have a full breakdown and explainer videos on everything. But this is the ape first, ask questions later tutorial of Fusion. So here we go. First and foremost, we want to go to PancakeSwap. So I'm going to actually do it through Dex Screener. A lot of you might not even know this, but you can actually buy the token right through Dex Screener. Again, this is the EMP ETH LP. You can look it up. It's the EMP ETH LP that has about 1.1 million in liquidity. We'll have the exact contract out there as well, so don't get scammed. But you go to Dex Screener or PancakeSwap directly. You'll hit trade on PancakeSwap over here on the right if you're on Dex Screener, and it will automatically pull up a new window. You'll connect your wallet, and you will literally take your EMP or your BNB rather, and buy EMP. So again, even just $10 or $20 worth of EMP to get started and see how this all works. So number one, buy EMP off the market, and number two is go back to Fusion right here, fusion.emp.money, and sacrifice. So again, it's as simple as essentially single-sided staking in the protocol. It's really not much more than that. And so you would want to select EMP. You can sacrifice other assets, but EMP and EMP ETH LP are the ones that will give you the actual peg bonus. So when we're below peg, I would highly suggest either of those. If you're going to sacrifice BNB or ETH or BUSD or USDT or any of the other assets or Eshare, it will only be calculated at market value. So don't do that until we're closer to peg. And so again, EMP there, deposit however much EMP you would like right here, and then you hit deposit at the bottom. And once you do that, this area right here will open up. So on the right hand side, this is our dashboard. It will show you how much M energy you have, which I'll talk about in a second. It shows you your daily reward estimate and the BBNE, which is essentially your daily earnings that can be compounded into increasing your microgrid. So this right here is your microgrid right here, this little card, and it represents your ownership of the protocol. So I have about 184,000 SAC points. Again, you're credited SAC points depending on how much EMP you deposit, and that gives my microgrid value of about 20K, and that means I own 0.1% of the entire protocol, and therefore I'm getting 0.1% of all the rewards that the protocol distributes. So that is it in a nutshell on how to get a microgrid. And then once you do that, again, if you are a minnow, or maybe you're just wanting to build your bag, that's really all you have to do, because you won't have to worry about batteries until you want to cash out of the ecosystem. And the buyback and earn, or BBE, will automatically work the minute that you buy into the ecosystem. So again, I would recommend that for any new users. But if you did want to cash out, you would go to Marketplace. You would buy some M energy right here. You can buy, again, as little as you want or as much as you want. If you are getting in for the long term, I highly recommend the low voltage, medium voltage, or high voltage power pack. As long as you're getting more than 19.4 Eshare, you get a bonus, or a 5% bonus if you get more than 97.02 Eshare, you get a 10% bonus, and more than 388 0.6, you get 15% bonus. Those numbers are variable, so again, they will go up and down depending on the price of eShare, but you will get this exact amount of M energy at those levels. So, and then you use that to buy your cash out batteries. So down here, again, all of our batteries, if you run a cash out of the eco system in actual blue chip assets, not more EMP or more Eshare. You're getting actual blue chips. You can buy BNB, ETH, or USDT and activate those to then receive your rewards in those assets. So again, that's all I'm going to go into right now because it's supposed to be really very, very high level. But LA, did that help? Was there anything you want me to expand on, knowing that this is just for, the bare bones minimum?
I know we're not planning to go into it super long, so I just want to kind of consolidate all of that and say this is a single staking EMP pool, and you have two options. You can either not activate any cash out batteries, which will have your BBE collecting your rewards. And that means every time you tap that activate button, you are auto compounding your earnings, which will then increase your ownership percentage and your microgrid value. Or you can choose to purchase cash out batteries, which will allow you to collect your rewards inside those batteries and cash out directly to those assets into your wallet. It's really that simple. It's not very much different from any other staking protocols. There are a few additional things added on top, but I promise you, it's so easy to learn. And once you get over that initial learning curve, it's the easiest thing in the world to just set it and forget it or be more active, whatever you prefer. We do have a full tutorial series on this channel after the AMA. If you click on the EMP.Money symbol right here below the stream and you toggle over to playlists, you'll see the EMP Fusion educational series. And if you watch those videos, you will have a great basis and understanding for how Fusion works.
Yeah, 100% LA. I love it. And just a few more quick little points based on the feedback that we've been getting. Number one is, where does the revenue come from? Again, remember we are providing this in real yield, and what that means is all of our franchise and ecosystems have a percentage of what they're earning in real revenue coming back to EMP Fusion. That's how we pay the rewards. It's not about minting new tokens. It's not about, hoping that somebody buys EMP from you at a higher price than what you paid for it. It's literally the easy button in sitting back and collecting passive income through our other protocols that generate real yield. So we are working on a dashboard that gives a better breakdown of those revenue streams. Again, everything is on chain and verifiable, and we just have to get a way to display that to the end user in a very clear and concise way. So that is moving up the priority list because even though we have an amazing track record and we've never misled anyone, people want to know where the yield comes from, and we get that. So that was another big thing I wanted to address. And last but not least, again, this value right here is your microgrid value. And yes, it appears that it's dashboard money, but really, because of the new battery, you can always be liquid on your microgrid. So again, eventually when we are at PEG, you'll be able to sell your microgrid at peg value, which again is pretty impressive. I mean, I don't know any other protocol, especially NFTs like this, that have a way of getting liquid even if there isn't a buyer. So, and we've said all along that we have a very specific process. Right now, all of the resources are going into peg recovery. After that, then we will be able to boost the APR. And the final step number three, is the treasury itself going and buying microgrids off the market. So again, if you go here, and you buy the split my position battery, you're able to list your microgrids for sale. And so, as a treasury, once we're at peg and everything is healthy and rewards are very attractive, then we go in and we start buying microgrids off the market. And when we get to that phase, literally everybody that wants to sell will be able to, and we are simultaneously reducing the ownership of the protocol. Because if you sell your microgrid, you may never be able to buy it ever again, which again makes it so even if we have the same amount of rewards distributed over less amount of people, that will skyrocket the APR alone. So that is where things get really bullish because we essentially, make everybody liquid on their microgrid value. And the hope is that the rewards are so good that people don't want to sell their microgrids. And at that point, we're just one giant, a private investment family killing it together. So, yeah, I know that's a vision that you're looking forward to, right, LA?
Hell yes.
Cool. Awesome. All right. I think that covered pretty much everything. Was there anything else you wanted me to go over really quick while I have the screen share?
No, I think that's it for Fusion, and we have a few more updates we're going to give on some of the other parts of our ecosystem.
All right. Awesome. Yeah, I think up next is Honor vs. Madness, right?
Yes.
All right. I'll let you take the lead and then I'll chime in. Go ahead.
Yeah. In the last few weeks, we have interviewed literally all of the top tier marketing agencies in Web3. We've been on so many phone calls and in the gaming industries, and we've had a number of pitches that we've liked. We've done extensive research, planning, strategizing. It's incredibly important for us to get this exactly right and pick a team that not only we know have the skills to pull this off the way that we envision, but also the communication styles and work ethic that we need from them as well. We obviously have very high standards for work ethic, for morality, for a lot of these different boxes that we want to check. And the right team checks all of the boxes. And so we have we have interviewed a lot of teams, but we believe we've found a winner, and we're finalizing our go to market strategy with them now. So you're about to see a lot of growth and momentum on all of our accounts. And once everything is in place, we're going to need a lot of help from all of you in spreading the word to maximize all of these efforts. We have a really unique combination of paid ads, social engineering, KOLs and influencers, press releases, giveaways, articles, contests, behind the scenes content of our game coming to life. Literally nobody has put together a plan like this, and it is all going to be happening over the next 2.5 months prior to TGE, and then ongoing after. It is going to be very powerful. And with the community's help and support, it is going to be even more powerful. So this is an ongoing process, and building it is not an overnight success, but we are taking literally every step to make sure that this is not a pump and dump token, that the game and the game token are incredibly successful, and that we're building a really sustainable thing here, and a bulletproof token launch.
Yeah, 100% LA. And again, we started this process months ago. Again, ramping up for TGE. We had our private whitelist sale. We really couldn't move forward before that because we didn't know how much we were actually going to raise. And obviously, the game development budget is priority, and then the marketing budget after that. But we did hit some of our goals with the raise. Obviously, we would love to raise more, but that being said, it was still very healthy. And so, with that, we can then approach these firms and get a much better idea of the overall strategy that they would implement for the budget that we have. And so we had interviewed a team that we did really like initially. Again, LA made some amazing contacts out at Consensus and all the networking that she does. But ultimately, we just felt it wasn't quite the right fit. And we ended up, after interviewing, like LA said, another dozen of these major marketing firms. We found one through a personal recommendation that I think is just an amazing fit for us, and not only from a marketing standpoint, but also, and LA mentioned this a little bit, also from a personality standpoint. Again, when you're working with somebody as closely as we will be getting ready for the TGE, it's really important that their work ethic and communication skills, and honestly, just the excitement about the game really translates. So we want somebody that likes the game, that has had experience in getting these other similar games to market in a very powerful way. And this agency checks all those boxes. So we're hoping to have the contract finalized this week. As soon as we do, we'll be able to publicly announce who it is, and then we can just really start ramping it up again. Uh, that's when we're going to rely on all of you heavily to help jumpstart things when you do see all of this new content going out. You will need to, again, everything we say, like and share and comment, and really help us get the algorithm going. And then we have a full 2.5 months, to really drive it home. So we're still on schedule. We're in a great position. And not only is HVM, the TGE the number one priority, but once we get to TGE, then we can really focus on, building for the actual game launch. And that's when we employ even other really cool marketing strategies going after the Web 2 audience as well. And that is a whole nother arm of the rollout that, we haven't even really gotten the ball rolling on yet, which is bullish because that gives us then an additional 8 months before the game is ready to really get as many users as possible. So it is a very specific plan, alongside of all this, scaling. LA and I will still be doing our own AMA train and everything that we do, on our own, which again, having a multi-prong approach is even more powerful. So yeah, the next few months are going to be insane in terms of getting more people involved and really onboarding users not only into the HVM socials and ecosystem, but ultimately spill over into the EMP and DexFi ecosystems as well. So we're really excited for that, and you sprinkle in, a bull run on top of all that, and we're in an amazing position going into 2025. So, all right,
Yeah.
anything you want to add to that,
And
Ali? Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, and I just wanted to mention we are still very much on track for our October TGE, very likely towards the end of October. And the only other thing that I wanted to mention is obviously we are starting with this marketing company for Honor versus Madness, but all goes well. We do very much plan to expand their services into helping us with all of our protocols. And so this is going to be the start of a very fruitful relationship and future with them in expanding our reach all around the entire ecosystem.
Yeah, no, for sure, 100%. So, and again, I know that it may be a little bit frustrating, especially as we get our schedule down in the HVM specific socials. We are still planning on the specific AMAs. Again, we'll have plenty of exclusive content. We just need to get into a rhythm over there. So, thank you for all that have been patient. Know that even if you're not getting, an update every few days, that doesn't mean that things are not actually moving forward full speed ahead. So, all right, awesome. So yeah, I think we're good on that. I know we have one more topic, and that is Sparkswap. So again, LA, if you're going to go over that, and then I'll just elaborate.
Yes. And so I just wanted everyone to know that the reports that we received about the Spark 404 page not loading the pictures, the graphics for the 404s on the dashboard have been taken seriously. It has not at all gone ignored. I have been speaking to the developers and working with them on this over the last few weeks now. But unfortunately, after they've done some inquiry into the issue, they have discovered that it's just going to be a lot more of an overhaul to fix it than we anticipated, and it would require 2 or 3 weeks of dev work. Now, that being said, normally, of course, we would be right on fixing something regardless of the amount of time of dev work that it takes. But with Sparkswap specifically, because we are developing this Mega Dex and it's coming very soon, and the Sparkswap site and all of its assets are moving over to the Mega Dex, we just don't currently feel that it's worth the dev time to fix it with it becoming redundant so quickly afterwards. Where if we took that extra dev time and continued to work on the Mega Dex, it would be finished quicker, and then that issue would be non-existent. So we do non-existent. So we apologize for the inconvenience, but please just hold tight, and we will be transitioning soon into the Mega Dex, and it will be a very fruitful, exciting time for all of us when that happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, we know that it's been frustrating, but we have a plan for all of that. And like we said all along, even though we may not give you the exact roadmap ahead of time to avoid any potential gamification, any of you and any of our products or protocols will never just be forgotten about. So we have a plan with
Yes.
everything, even though it may not look that way at the current moment. Um, we can assure you that. And it all ties into the Mega Dex, which again, when we're able to release that info, it will become a lot more clear. But yeah, 100%, right, Ellie?
Yeah, and we got a comment today asking, has Sparkswap been forgotten about now that the focus has been on Fusion and Honor versus Madness? And we tend to get these types of questions about any of our projects anytime we're focusing more of the outward attention on any of them for a short period of time, whether it's Fusion, and then we say, what about Sparkswap? If it's Sparkswap, we say, what about Fusion? If it's Honor versus Madness, it's what about Sparkswap? What about Fusion? And there will be times where on our AMAs and in our posts, our outwards attention is focused more on one versus the other. But I want to emphasize this again. I know I've said this a number of times, so I apologize if you're a frequent listener and you've heard me say this a lot. None of our projects are being forgotten about, and all of them are simultaneously being worked on in the background. And so I've just given you an explanation as to why specific things within Sparkswap may not be directly improved at this time, and that's because of the Megadex. But there has literally been an entire team of developers feverishly working on developing this mega dex so that we can get it off the ground and really very much have a very successful dex on our hands that incorporates all of Sparkswap, all of CetoSwap, this brand new BSC side of things, and far beyond all of that. And it's going to be incredibly successful. And we've been working on that for literally months now behind the scenes, and they're making incredible progress towards it. And Sparkswap absolutely has not been forgotten about. And part of the question was, well, all of these new projects seem to flow revenue into Fusion. What about Sparkswap? And again, forming this mega dex is so important because a reminder, a portion of all the fees from every swap, from every bridge, go into all of the holders. And when we have access to more chains and more users and all of our marketing efforts are behind one project instead of split between multiple ones when it comes to Swap and Sparkswap and here and there and over there, it's going to be a lot more powerful. It's going to be easier to attract more users because it's not just on one particular chain that might be struggling right now, like Pulse Chain is, and it's hard to get a lot of traction there at this very moment. And so with access to more chains and more efforts on one particular projects as opposed to splitting our efforts and time between all of them, it very much so has the ability to boost all of our rewards. And so it's not that case in what was said at all. So just want to emphasize that and reiterate what I've said on a few of the AMAs. Now we do have a large team and we are always working on the background, even if the frontwards attention is on one project or another for a period of time. That does not mean that at any point we're forgetting about or neglecting any of our other projects.
I love it, LA. I couldn't say it any better than that. Again, we have all of this under the hood that we're working through. The Mega Dex will be the future, and that by no means is saying that we're moving on from Cedo and Spark. Especially if you guys and gals have positions. I mean, we even had somebody in VIP the other day say how happy they are they got into Sparkler. Even now, even with the payouts being a little lower, they're still gaining on their Pulse holdings because Pulse has gone down so much. So with the new Mega Dex, again, Sparkswap and Cedo Swap may look a little different, and how you're earning might be a little bit different. But the overall positions and structure of the 404's earning yield and Sparkler earning yield, all of that will be honored for sure. Again, it may look a little different and act a little different, but we're incorporating all that into the Mega Dex. And honestly, like LA said, I mean, it's even more bullish because having a footprint on some of the larger chains, again, BSC will be the first one. We absolutely hope to have a presence on Arbitrum and layer twos, base ETH mainnet eventually, most likely as well. And by doing that, we again are generating even more fees and even more volume and even more yield that will go right into those ecosystems individually. Again, remember, Fusion just gets a portion, a very small portion in percentage terms of those ecosystems. The vast majority of the yield goes into again Sparkler or the 404s on Cedo Swap again. So just bear with us. Nobody will be left behind. And once we finally have the economics and roadmap out for the new Mega Dex, I think all of you will be crazy bullish all over again. So cool. Okay.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, I think we are ready to move on to some questions. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Ready when you are.
All right. Will the Mega Dex be the final project for a while, or are there others planned beyond it?
Yeah, I like this question. So, we never there's never a dull moment in our ecosystem. So I don't want to say that the Megadex will be the last thing we do. Again, there's always room for new protocols and new product market fit and new infrastructure. However, there definitely will be a time period that after the Megadex, we just take a few months to really refine everything that we already have up and running. So, I know there's a lot of quality of life things that we haven't gotten to. Obviously, we have to prioritize the development, and whatever is going to have the biggest impact overall is what we do first. But yeah, after the Megadex, then we have more time to get to some of the lower priority items and really, get everything functioning extremely polished, for sure. So yeah, the short answer is we're never done developing, and we'll always be building, but after this, we will definitely take a few months to polish.
Well said. One question was, can we make YouTube shorts with clips from the game daily to help advertise? And I did answer this in writing, but one really exciting thing that we're going to have implemented that we haven't 100% planned out yet, but I have taken some detailed notes about how I would like to implement it, is we're going to have an extensive but pretty exclusive network of people that we work with that are helpers who make Honor versus Madness content and have exclusive perks and are rewarded for helping out with the protocol in that way and help with driving content. We are going to have also a Twitch channel with some reoccurring hosts that get to be a part of our channel, and will allow people to apply for those positions because there's a big opportunity to make a name for yourself that way because it's going to be quite a large channel. There's a lot of really exciting things that are going to happen. Stay tuned because it's going to be quite the thing to be a part of.
I love it. Absolutely, 100%.
Let's see what else we got here. How many wallets do we have linked to the microgrid so far? And Grover answered that last time he checked, he saw around 1,000 Fusion NFTs. Do you have any updated figures on that, AJ?
Yeah, on the overall microgrids themselves, is that what the question?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so again, Grover, I would take his word for it. He's very knowledgeable on the on-chain data. Again, I don't have an exact number off the top of my head, but that sounds about right. I mean, relatively speaking, there is still massive room for growth in terms of wallet holders and, participants in Fusion. I know overall, and again, this is another part of our process in figuring out what is preventing people getting into Fusion. We've seen, I think EMP has about 3,000 or 3,500 wallet holders. And so if only 1,000 people have gone into Fusion, then that means there's another 2,000 people potentially that just need to get educated about Fusion. So that's also part of our plan moving forward. Now, obviously, some of those wallets are people that have maybe been hacked or, have left crypto altogether. But the point in bringing all this up is we have a ton of room for growth just within our own ecosystem, let alone people that have never been involved in EMP at all. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Awesome. And then just a reminder that we do have plans to have a leaderboard. I did see a comment about that. It is on our development schedule, but our development schedule is organized in terms of low, medium, and high priority. And right now, the tasks we have the devs on are primarily geared towards what is going to have the largest impact in helping us to get back to PEG, supporting the price of Eshare, and those are our main focuses right now. The leaderboard most definitely is in the development schedule as well, maybe just not as high as some of the tasks related to those goals.
yep, for sure. I know I personally want a leaderboard, so it's definitely on the to-do list. And every day we make headway, so hopefully sooner than later, for sure.
Yeah. This is a question I can't wait for you to answer because it's going to be awesome.
All right, yes.
In the last AMA, AJ mentions that if we sell EMP, the PEG goes down, and if we buy EMP, the PEG goes up. What happens to PEG when there's no EMP left on the market? How do we keep it high and paying out?
I love it. So again, this is why EMP Fusion is honestly, a unicorn in the DeFi space. So yeah, the answer is, when there is no more EMP, then peg is essentially guaranteed. And the reason that is because we will have the LP paired with Ethereum. So again, let's just walk through what that looks like, and then we can talk about why it's powerful. So, when there's no more EMP left in the market, that means that literally nobody is able to sell EMP down, and nobody's able to buy EMP to push EMP up. So the peg value is solely determined on the LP or the LP ratio, and because we are paired to ETH 4,000 to 1, once we get to that ratio and there is no more EMP left, then it's mathematically guaranteed to stay at that ratio. And again, at that point, because there's no EMP left in existence, the peg really is just a placeholder that gives that value to your microgrid. Because again, there would be no way to get into the ecosystem without buying a microgrid from someone else because there is no more EMP. So I think, in the long run, at that point, peg really doesn't matter because there's no more EMP anyway. But when we get to that point, um, then literally everybody is realizing their microgrid value at whatever peg value is. And, nobody in their right mind would sell, their microgrid at a lower price unless they just needed to get out. And at that point, the Treasury would be stepping in, like I mentioned earlier. If people needed to just sell the microgrid and move on, for whatever reason, then the Treasury would be there to guarantee the liquidity. So rather than, again, having a massive liquidity locked up in EMP ETH LP, when there is no more EMP, we basically utilize our protocol owned liquidity or POL into providing liquidity on microgrids directly. So it is a multi-step process, and that's why we've been really specific on, that three-step process. Number one is, regaining peg. Number two is maintaining peg and boosting rewards. And number three is, again, buying all microgrids off the market once there is no more EMP. So that is like the overall flow of things. And again, once there is no more EMP, then peg is a lot less relevant, but it would still have a 4,000 to 1 ratio.
Amazing. And Charlie comes at us with some updated stats that there's 1,017 microgrid NFTs. So killer.
Awesome, thank you. Yes, we have some amazing on-chain experts, so thank you, Charlie, for sure.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, so those are all the questions, I believe. Oh no, let's see. There's a few more. AJ, would you consider raffling off your first game of Honor versus Madness and stream it live?
Yeah, I like that idea. For sure. I mean, obviously, when we are at that point, we will have some incredibly powerful hype around the first official game play match of HVM for sure. But yeah, I never thought maybe auctioning it off or maybe doing some sort of a raffle. Yeah, I like that for sure.
Yes. What is the latest on the DOS contracts and nodes? I know we update this every time, but let's do it again.
Yeah, 100%. So again, all of those are still functioning and paying every day. Again, when you look at the big picture, all of our legacy contracts are still to this day some of the most long-lasting ROI contracts ever made. But that being said, I mean we are looking at many ways of honoring at least some of the commitment into those contracts, um, but also, you know, doing what is best for the protocol overall and moving forward. So, we haven't made an official announcement. We're looking at all options from keeping everything as is to implementing, the V3 changes to, possibly sunsetting those altogether. And when I say that, that doesn't mean you get screwed. It means that you get a partial credit into Fusion or maybe some other mechanisms. I mean, we're exploring about 5 or 6 different avenues, and we don't want to put any development time into, the proposed fixes or changes when we may change them again, a few weeks or months later. So we're trying to come up with an end-all be-all solution for all legacy contracts that makes as many people happy as possible and allows us to move forward with Fusion being, the final form of EMP.
Exactly. All right, let's see. Are there any more? No, there are not. That is it.
Cool.
All right.
All right.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. It's always the best when it's Monday. We have a fresh week ahead of us full of amazing possibilities, and we're about to absolutely kill it with the progress that we make. And so we're excited to update you again on Thursday and let you know the latest. But thank you for always being here. Thank you for always supporting. Please make sure if you haven't yet, you give this stream a big thumbs up. And we will see you very soon.
Amazing, awesome, LA. Thank you for helping me with the outro tonight. Like I said, my voice is starting to get a little shot. Had a really great podcast right before the AMA. We will post the info on that when it's released. Make sure you support that and all the content creators out there that are continually covering our ecosystem. It's really important that we do that. And yeah, like I said, we appreciate all of you. Much love to all of you. We are again grinding away. Another week of progress, and we will be back on Thursday. We come to you every Monday and Thursday at 6:45 p.m. Make sure Eastern. Make sure that you are liking, commenting, and subscribing to the YouTube channel as well. And yeah, I think that'll do it. Ellie, any last words of wisdom?
That's it.
All right, awesome. All right, on that note, good night, good day. We'll see you on Thursday. Bye bye, everyone.